Assalamu alaikum and good morning, all my dear students who are in this class. I warmly welcome you back to the class of Social Studies. This is Ms. Zunaira, your Social Studies teacher, and we are back with lecture number 17. As you all know that we started our new chapter in our last class. The name of the new chapter was Natural Resources of South Asia. Remember, the name of the chapter was Natural Resources of South Asia, which is our chapter number 5, and it is on page number 44 of your book, right? So let's get started. Here are some of the things to learn from this chapter. And now, beta, here you can see that there are written things to learn from this chapter, Natural Resources of South Asia, in which you can see forest, water resources, agriculture, livestock, poultry and fisheries, wildlife, and minerals. I gave you the same chapter for the syllabus of MT2, so you have to be very careful, okay? Pay attention. So let's get started. We started this chapter with the types of forest in South Asia that was completely covered in our last class, remember? Now today we will continue, but let's have a flashback of it. Types of forest in South Asia, we can see that there are 4 types of forest in South Asia: mountainous forest, submountainous forest, riverine forest, and tidal forest. We are not supposed to, we are not supposed to, but the screen is clear to everyone? Screen is clear to everyone now? Okay, so types of forest we have learned in our last class, right? We are not supposed to discuss them in detail, so let's go ahead now. The next thing which we are going to start is irrigation. Okay, the second bullet of this chapter, or the second outline of this chapter, is irrigation. What is irrigation? You can define it in a single line by saying carrying water to fields. Carrying water to fields. Okay, it is not the water to drink, to take bath, or different purposes cannot be fulfilled, and this process would not be irrigation would only indicate carrying water to the fields or the crops, right? So let's see. Okay, it is also known as water resources. Now here we are going to see some of the main points from this paragraph. We use fresh water, right? We use fresh water for our daily home chores, and we need fresh water for every kind of work, right? Okay. The water in streams, ponds, and rivers. Almost all the water except seawater is called fresh water. So, what is the fresh water? Except seawater, every water body is representing the fresh water. Okay, and this is the water that we use for all the purposes. So, afterwards, we must know about irrigation in India and Pakistan. If we talk about the irrigation system of India and Pakistan, so highly developed canal system for irrigation developed by British. In India and Pakistan, the canal system or the irrigation is highly developed, and it was developed in the British period. Okay, it was developed by British. Many dams have been added since 1947, including Mangla Tarbela in Pakistan and Firozpur Farakha in India. These are two names of the dams of Pakistan, and Farakha and Firozpur are two famous dams from India. They uh, they have been added by the British time. Okay, then it was constructed afterwards. So we have highly developed canal system. Other means of irrigation are tube wells, ponds, carries water, which is underground channel. I told you in the class as well that India and Pakistan have developed canal system which was developed by the in the British duration, and many of the dams have been added since 1947, right? Other means of irrigation are tube well. Now, other means of irrigation are present over there where canal system is absent. Okay, for example, deserts of India and Pakistan, like Thar from Pakistan and Rajasthan from India. These are the deserts, and they do not have the developed canal system. So there are other means of irrigation there, and these means of irrigation are tube well, ponds, and Kari's water is a kind of irrigation system in which underground channels are made for the water, and this practice is done in Balochistan. Okay, you have to remember it that this practice is there in Balochistan. Now here you can see Mangla, Tarbela, Firozpur, and Farakha. These are the pictures of these dams which have been added since 1947, and they were developed by British, but their construction was continued afterwards. Now the next thing is irrigation in Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. Okay, irrigation in Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. They both receive heavy rainfall. As I told you in the class, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, they are dependent on heavy rainfall, but they receive the heavy rainfall. On the other hand, controlling of floods can be a big issue which can be overcome by raising embankments along the rivers. There is no issue of water. If we talk about the irrigation in Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, they receive enough amount of rainfall, so they don't face any scarcity of water for the agriculture or the crops. But on the other hand, it can be it can be very dangerous for them. Okay, so there is a risk of floods. Now the next thing is agriculture. Agriculture means growing crops. And here we are concerned to discuss the agriculture in South Asia, right? So agriculture in South Asia, except Maldives, relies on agriculture. Okay? We must say one thing here, that agriculture is a main occupation of the countries of South Asia except Maldives. Because land is fertile and rivers provide abundant water. Our land is fertile. Fertile means our land has enough minerals to which are required by the growth of plant. Okay, so the countries of South Asia mainly rely on agriculture. Now, here comes the types of crops, because we started agriculture. Okay, one thing you must remember, that if I ask you about irrigation, you must say that the process of providing water to fields, process of providing water to fields. Now, what is agriculture? Growing crops and fields. Okay, growing crops or fields is the agriculture, and providing water to these fields and crops, this is the irrigation, right? So here comes the types of crops, because we are talking about agriculture now. So we can divide the crops into two main types, which is food crops and cash crops. Here I have written the examples as well. Food crops are those crops which can be consumed as food, like wheat, rice. These both can be consumed as food. Okay, so these will be known as food crops. On the other hand, we have another kind, that is cash crops. Cash crops means they are not eaten, like cotton and jute. These are the you can say, these are your crops which cannot be eaten as a food, but they enhances the economy of South Asia. Okay, they by selling cotton and jute, we earn money, so that is why we are calling it as cash crop, right? Now beta, here you can see the main crops of South Asia in the background as well, and here I have written some of the names. Rice. I have added one thing here which everybody must know, that is rice is a crop that requires a lot of water. Okay, paddy crop, we call it as paddy crop as well. Okay, Rice is a crop that requires a lot of water. Wheat, pulses, millet, maize, sugarcane, tea, oilseeds, and jute. Now see, after rice and jute, I have written something in the bracket, and you must remember it that these two crops are the kind of crop which require a lot of water. Okay, and all these are the main crops of South Asia. So if I ask you what is agriculture, you can define it by saying that agriculture means growing crops. Okay, and what are the main crops of South Asia? These are in front of you. You can tell me about this. Okay, so let's go ahead. This is the map of South Asia, right? This is the map of South Asia, in which you can see all 7 countries: Pakistan, India, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Maldives. Now, here one by one, we are going to see their main crops. Let's talk about Pakistan first. In Pakistan, rice is grown and tobacco is grown. Tobacco is a kind of crop which is not useful for us. It is harmful. Okay, so we hope that in future we can replace it by some useful crops. So here we have to remember that rice and tobacco, these are the crops which can be grown in Pakistan. Apart from this, cotton is grown, wheat is grown, millet is grown, sugarcane is grown. Okay, but here we will discuss some of the key points. Okay, like if I ask you about tobacco, you must know that it is grown in Pakistan. And here on the map of India, you can see rice, jute, tea, and tobacco. Okay, it means jute and tea, they are not highly grown in Pakistan, but they are grown in India. Okay, and tobacco again here. So we can say that tobacco is grown in India and Pakistan both, if we talk about South Asia. Okay, we are concerning only 7 countries here. Now here comes the crops of Bangladesh: rice, jute, and tea. Okay, Sri Lanka, which is rice, vegetable, oil seeds. If we talk about Maldives, we know that Maldives, there are many islands and they are collectively called as Maldives, right? They are having rice, coconut, banana, and many more. Here comes Bhutan. I have written only rice here. And in Nepal, rice. So one thing which we can notice here is that rice is grown in all the countries of South Asia. This is the key point for you, that rice is grown in all the countries of South Asia, right? But we can see the tea. Tea is grown in India and Bangladesh, right? On the other hand, we can see the tobacco. Tobacco is grown in Pakistan and India. So what you have to remember, you have to remember some of the important points here, like rice is grown all over the South Asia and jute is grown in India and Bangladesh. Tea is grown in South India and Bangladesh. And apart from these crops, it doesn't mean that these countries are having only these crops. No, there are others as well. Okay, like wheat, pulses, millet. But here we are just explaining some of these crops. Methods of irrigation. What we have learned about agriculture. Sorry, it is method of agriculture. Growing crops requires 4 processes. Okay, this is agriculture. It is mistakenly written here. Growing crops requires 4 processes. How many processes? 4 processes. And these are the 4 processes in front of you. Number 1, preparing of land. Okay, the very first process of agriculture is preparing the land. The land where we are going to sow the seeds, and from where we are getting our crops, we must prepare that land first. Okay, we have to prepare the land first. Afterwards, we can sow the seeds. After preparing the land, now sowing of the seed is the second process. It means beej bona, right? After preparing the land, we can sow the seeds. अब हम बीज बो सकते हैं. The third process would be looking after the crop. Okay, once we have once we have done these two processes, that doesn't mean that we should not go to the fields or the crops. We have to look after it. We have to take care of our crops so they can give us the more you can say more effective crops, fruits, vegetable, whatever we have grown there. The last process would be harvesting. The last process would be harvesting. So we can say that there are 4 processes required for agriculture. How many processes? 4 processes. And these must be written in the sequence. You must remember these processes in their particular sequence. That first process would be preparing the land. Second process would be sowing the seeds. Third process would be looking after the crop. And the fourth and the last process would be harvesting. Harvesting means cutting. Okay, once we have prepared the land, we have sown the seed, we have taken care of our crop. Now it's time to get your result. Whatever you have grown, whatever you want, whatever you have grown, you can take your results now. Harvesting means cutting. Okay, harvesting means cutting. For example, if you have grown the wheat, so harvesting means cutting the wheat from crops now and use it for your different purposes. Either you want to sell it, so you can sell it, you can use it. Okay, these can be used for many reasons. So students, here comes the problems. After learning agriculture, we have seen the major crops in different countries of South Asia. Then we learned about the process of agriculture, that how it occurs. It occurs in 4 steps, 4 sequential steps. Okay, preparing the land, sowing the seed, and sowing the seed. After sowing the seed, it was taking care of your crop, and the last was harvesting. That means cutting. Instead, apart from this, we have the problems as well. Okay, because we know that we are among third world countries. We are not successful, we are not developed, so we face many of the problems as well. So here comes the problems. According to your syllabus, we will be learning or discussing these 3 major problems of agriculture. Number 1, loss of land. Number 2, scarcity of water. Number 3, poverty. Okay, loss of land. Scarcity means deficiency or kami. Okay? Scarcity of water and poverty. Right? So let's discuss them one by one. Number 1, loss of land. Loss of land, या land loss, is the term typically used to refer to the conversion of coastal land to open water by natural processes and human activities. Let's make it easy. What do we do? For the agriculture, first we prepare our land, okay? But sometimes what happens, our land is not capable that their crops can be grown. Okay, this is the loss of land. Why it happens? It happens due to number of the reasons. Many of the reasons. See, we have learned that rice and jute require a lot of water, right? And if we grow them in the areas where there is the scarcity of water, so is it good? It is not good at all, because we have not seen the requirement of the crop. So what we have done, we have grown the wrong crop on the wrong place. That will not damage your only crop, that will damage the land also. Okay, so what happens by this, we can lost the land. Okay, we can the land which we can call it as zarkhes, fertile, on which crops can be grown, that can be lost as well. That can become banjar as well. It means unable to grow any crop. The second problem we can face is scarcity of water. See the background. What do you see there? Only few of the plants. Now soil you can see. Is this soil able to grow many of the crops? Not at all. Why? Because the basic requirement is water, and when there's a scarcity of water, when there's a deficiency of water, so it affects the growth of plants and different crops and fields. So what is a scarcity of water? Scarcity means water scarcity can mean scarcity in availability due to physical shortage, or scarcity in excess due to the failure of institutions to ensure a regular supply, or due to a lack of adequate infrastructure. Water scarcity already affects every continent. Simple is that we know that for the agriculture, water plays a vital role, right? Water plays a vital role. So if there is a deficiency of water, scarcity of water, definitely it will affect your agriculture. The last problem which we are going to discuss from your chapter is poverty, ghurbat. Poverty is a state or condition in which a person or a community lacks the financial resources and essentials for a minimum standard of living. Poverty means that the income level from the employment is so low that basic human needs can't be met. Simple, we can say, if we have lost the land due to some of the reasons, we can make it fertile again. दोबारा से उसे fertile बनाया जा सकता है. But the problem is that we are not resourceful as well. We are not resourceful as well. Resources भी नहीं है. Okay, so it affects a lot. So this was all about today's lecture. Okay, beta, some of the things we are going to discuss now. Listen to me very carefully. You have been given natural resources of South Asia for your monthly test, right? Page number 44, page number 45, page number 46, 47, and 48. You have to prepare yourself very well from these pages. Okay, some of the things are left in your class.